children. Welcome to another exciting lesson in mathematics. Today we'll be looking at numbers, and under numbers we'll look at fractions. So by the end of the lesson you should be able to know the term fraction. When we say fraction, what does it mean? You should be able to understand the fraction of 1/2. So when an object is cut into two or split into two, you should be able to know that this is what? 1/2. Let's move on to our keywords. So our first keyword is fraction. Let's spell fraction together. Fraction, F-R-A-C-T-I-O-N. Fraction. So fraction is something that shows parts of a whole. Fraction is something that shows parts of a whole. And the next keyword is whole. W-H-O-L-E. Whole is a very complete object. So any complete object is called whole. Some examples of a whole object are, we have apple, orange, a loaf of bread, a bar of soap. The next keyword is 1/2. 1/2 or half. Half is when a whole object is divided into two. So if I have a whole object and it is divided into two, we call it what? Half. So this is my whole, right? When I split it into two, each part is called half. 1/2. Good. Now let's look at the symbol we use to represent half. Okay, so we use 1/2 to represent half. My orange is here. It has been split into two. So I have my orange here and I've split it into two. So I will use 1/2 to represent half. But mind you, whenever you see half in a plural form, don't spell it as H-A-L-F. It is spelled as H-A-L-V-E-S. Halves. Let's move on. So I have 1/2. The bottom number, that is the under number, we use it to represent the parts. So I've divided this into two parts. So the part that has been divided is, we use the bottom number to represent that. That is the 2. And the top number, it is the total that we have. We have only one whole, which has been divided into two. So we have 1/2. That is very interesting, right? Good. Okay, so the down number or the parts in which the whole is being divided is called the denominator. Or the down number or the bottom number is called the denominator. The top number is also called the numerator. The top number, we call it what? Numerator. Now look on your screen. Let's look at the spellings for numerator. So the numerator tells us the parts, the whole we have. That is the top number. The whole we have is used for numerator. Then the denominator is for the parts it has been divided into. Okay, don't forget that. Now let's take a scenario. Supposing I went to the market and I bought a big watermelon. I hope you all like watermelon. Okay, but then my sister came around and she said she wanted some. Now I have to split it into two equal parts. So I have my watermelon here. I'll split it into 2. What will I get? 1/2. So this is the whole watermelon. It has been splitted into 2. 1/2. So children, we use 1/2 to represent half. The bottom number is called the denominator. The top number is called numerator. The denominator tells us how many parts we have. Good. The numerator tells us the parts we have, or the whole we have. Very good. Now, we'll be looking at more questions next week. I'll give you questions, numbers, and we try to split the number into 2. Yes, so prepare for me. So children, what did we talk about today? Today we said we have half. When it comes to fraction, it means something that shows parts of a whole. Anything that shows parts of a whole. And whole is a very complete object. When you have a full thing, a complete thing, we call it whole. Half, when it is divided into 2 equal parts. Don't forget to add the equal to it. When it is divided into 2 equal parts, we use 1/2 to represent half. So anytime you see 1/2 somewhere, remember that it is talking about half. Good. And we said the 2, that is the bottom number, we call it denominator. Then the one on top, the top number, we call it numerator. The denominator shows or indicates the parts it has been divided into. So if it has been divided into 2, the denominator will tell us that. Then the numerator tells us the whole we have. Good, we've come to the end of today's lesson. We've come to the end of today's lesson. I hope you had a wonderful lesson with me. Now be good children and always wash your hands with soap and under running water. I'll see you on Zoom when we talk about more examples. Till I come